gonna start. Oh, God, I'm so tired. Happy Wednesday. How was your week? I hope it was great. I'm tired as fuck. Oh, my God. If I look like I just rolled out of bed, it's because I did. Oh, my God. So today, I wanted to do a stream called Little Victories, which are really big victories. Every victory is big. Haha, John. Friends making fun of me because I'm always tired. I will talk about that later, actually. But yeah, I want to do a stream called Little Victories and just celebrate things that people have done this week or any time to overcome anxiety, depression, really any mental disorder. When I posted it asking for stories, I realized I only talked about anxiety and depression. And someone commented on one of my posts on Facebook and was like, well, I don't have either of those, but I do struggle with other things. Is that okay? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I didn't mean to sound exclusive. So she messaged me. So I think I have like 8 stories. There were like 6 or, I don't know, I lost track. I have them all written on my phone. I'm not super prepared. I've been struggling with a migraine all day. So my victory today is getting out of bed, eating, and doing this stream. I literally slept all day. Didn't go to, like, I woke up, I didn't go to work, and then I slept all day, had a pounding migraine. It's still a little there, but we're gonna get through this. And at first I was mad, like, oh my God, of course today of all days, when I want to throw a pity party, I feel like shit. Today is a day I'm gonna stream about victories and celebrate, like, yay. And God, I was like, thank you, universe, for your sixth sense of humor. And then this amazing angel, one of my friends named Lucia in Canada, I love you, boo, mwah, she was like, actually, maybe it's the universe's way of, like, lifting you up. And I was like, oh, shit, okay, like, now I don't have an excuse to just continue throwing myself a pity party. So I guess those are some of my victories, but don't particularly want to talk about me and my victories right now. I kind of just want to complain. So we're talking about other people's victories. I will say, though, for, like, fatigue and stuff, I thought my fatigue and stuff was just depression, anxiety, but the med student we worked with, like, 2-3 weeks ago was, like, genuinely concerned. So now I'm gonna go see a doctor in, like, 2 weeks because she's concerned about me being hypoglycemic, which means, like, low blood sugar levels, and I don't know. I'm just tired, like, abnormally tired, like, beyond anxiety, depression, fatigue. But anyway, I got out of bed. That's a fucking win. So now we're going to talk about other people's victories. Yay! So first up, I see him here. It's my friend Caleb. My friend Caleb lives in North Carolina, and he works in a mountain. So I'm sharing Caleb's story first. And his story, I think, so Caleb was the one that inspired this idea because he will text me, like, pretty randomly and be like, I conquered my anxiety today and here's how. And he sends me that, like, flexing emoji, and I love it. And every time I read it, I just, like, yay, I'm so proud. But I love how consistently it comes, or intermittently. I just love that I get those texts. And so I decided, you know what? Why not do a stream just celebrating those? And so Caleb's story is going to be up first. I texted him and asked for permission. Henley, I love you. You can get a story another time. My cat. But so Caleb's story's up first. And he said I could use a story about what he texted me about last time. Henley, don't feel bad for her not being on camera. She will be on here. She's such an attention hoe. Like, I love her so much, but, like, goddamn. Okay, back to Caleb. So my friend Caleb struggles with anxiety. I don't believe he's on medication for it right now, but his victories include having awesome conversations. So him and I had an awesome conversation, like, I think a month ago at this point, about medications. He was asking me questions, and we did some research, and we were looking up medications and talking about side effects and looking up SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are a branch of antidepressant, anti-anxiety meds. So we did the research together. We talked about it. He sees a therapist, and he does that regularly. And so those are like his long-term victories. Yay! But the short-term one that he texted me about, so he has a crush on a girl. I ship them so hard. I love it. And they're not like together right now, but they talk and they're so good for each other, and I love them so much. Just saying. But his anxiety, hold on. I made notes to myself and they don't really make sense anymore. So someone with anxiety is really good at picking up on different tones, voices, and everything. The girl he likes lives in another country, in Canada, nothing crazy, in Canada. And sometimes it's hard to keep in touch when you live in different countries, and as someone with anxiety, I like routine, and if that routine gets broken, it piques my anxiety, and that's kind of what happened. It's like when you get used to talking to somebody and then like little things change, people get busy, or I don't know, you're in another fucking country, it's easy to get anxious and wonder like what happened, did something happen, did I make them mad? And this guy texts me and says, normally anxiety triggers me, and he told me that he's able to calm himself down. He remembers things happen, that people are busy, and it's okay if routines get broken. And I know as someone like, if someone without anxiety or mental disorders or anything hears it, they're like, well, yeah, that's normal thinking. But for people with anxiety, that's not normal thinking. I think, oh my god, they hate me, they're mad at me, they're this, they're that. And so for Caleb to text me and just like, I can calm myself down, I'm good, I'm taking care of my triggers, I'm learning them better, I'm dealing with it as it comes, that's a big deal. So yay, Caleb. I love Caleb. He also donated to the National Alliance on Mental, nope, not, I'm sorry, my brain is so foggy today. He donated to an organization I care about that supports mental health. NAMI, they're called. I remember the acronym, but I can't remember like what it stands for right now because my brain hurts. So yay, Caleb. Snaps all around. Can't whistle, but I can snap. See, look at him posting the flexing emoji. I get that in text messages, and it makes me so happy. Also, he grows the best beard. I have to say that. Okay. Anyway. So the next story I'm going to tell is about another friend. National Alliance on Mental Illness. Thank you. I was like, National Alliance on Mental Institutions, and I confused myself. Thank you, John. Okay, so my next story, this person wished to remain anonymous, so I'm gonna keep them anonymous. And he lives in Europe, and I quit typing. Thanks, Agent Smith. I still love you. So yeah, my friend, he lives in Europe, and a little bit about him. He grew up, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm refreshing my notes, and I should have done this earlier, but like I said, I literally stayed in bed like all day and do not feel my best. But we're gonna get through this stream, and this will count as my victory for the day. So my friend is from Europe, and his background was very unemotional. You don't show emotions, and you don't, you keep things to yourself. If you have a problem, you fucking deal with it. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of crap. He grew up with that mindset all through being a teenager, and I think he's like in his mid to late 20s now, but he struggles a lot with self-harm. He struggles a lot with self-hate, and the way that he conquered it was he reached out on a Discord with a bunch of friends. He posted a selfie admitting to it and asked for help to stop self-harm, which is a big fucking deal. A lot of people who struggle with self-harm keep it to themselves because there's a lot of shame and stigma around it. And this friend of mine, felt brave enough to say something and reach out and ask for help. And we engaged in really awesome conversations about therapy. We talked about, he's working with a therapist right now, and he had really awesome questions about medication, coping skills, and a lot of people were quick to offer, like, well, this is what works for me. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And he engaged. He took it all in stride, and that's a big deal to ask for help, but not only to ask for help, but to listen to the advice that comes. And I messaged him asking for permission to share a story, and I just decided to keep it anonymous because I think a lot of it's more private for him, and I don't know if he's talked about it with his family, so I'm just keeping it private for him. But yeah, proud of you, dude. I don't know if you'll watch it, but proud of you for reaching out. It's a big deal, and it's hard to admit you need help, but you did it. And that is the first step, so proud of you. Okay. Third story is from my friend Chris. His name is Christopher, and he goes by Topher, and I really love that. His last name is Davis, and he goes by Dizzle, so Topher Dizzle. I love him. So him and I had an awesome phone conversation. He reached out to me and said, hey, I want to help. I have a story for your stream. And we talked on the phone for like an hour, and he shared this incredibly heartbreaking but just amazing story. And his story, so there's a long history of tragedy, and then he told me how he deals with it now. So basically, over the course of about 9 months, his sister overdosed on heroin on December 1st, and then his stepmom passed away due to a car crash, and then his brother completed suicide September 4th, I believe was the date. So within 9 months, lost 3 people close to him back to back to back. And I mean, that is obviously tragic and difficult time for people to go through. I mean, that's something that I can't imagine going through. I mean, I've lost people to suicide, I've lost people to accidents, but 3 family members within the course of 9 months is a big deal. And that's really hard. And his story is a lot more complex than that, but I'm actually going to write a blog post. On my blog post, there's a link on my profile. There's a section called Other Stories where I take people's stories of tragedy. A lot of the time they tell me about traumas they haven't processed or just need to talk about or want to talk about, and they let me turn it into a story. So he gave me permission to write a longer piece about him. So that's why I'm only sharing snippets of his story here, because I'm going to write a longer piece about him, which is really cool. So thank you, Topher, for letting me do that. So after the tragedies, I believe this happened 3 years ago. So I asked him, so what do you do now? And he said the way he copes is, one, he listens to music. And he sent me a link. What was the band? Pierce the Veil, I think. It was too intense for me. But actually there was one song I really liked by them, and I can't remember what it's called, but they clean sang, and it just sounded really good. But he sent me an album to that band that he really liked. And he says he goes home to his wife Miranda. They're coming up on 13 years of being together, 10-year anniversary of marriage, and they have an 8-year-old named Aiden. So congratulations on your upcoming anniversary. And he said he has his own family now. And he said, though his life was in shambles, it's not over. And I really love that he said that. And he said, yeah, my family fell apart, but I have my own to come home to every day. And he does. His sister, Allison, great name, by the way, got married 3 days ago, so congratulations to her. And his mom lives nearby. So despite the tragedy that happened in such a short amount of time, his family continues to stay together, and it sounds like him and his wife have an awesome relationship. His kid is great. So just, it always amazes me how much tragedy humans can go through and come out being positive, funny, and just you learn to roll with it, you learn to live with it, and it's not that the grief ever truly heals or you ever truly move on, but you learn how to cope, and I think Topher's done that really well. So I'm proud of you and thank you for reaching out. It was really cool getting to know you. Um, and I wanted to make a quick note on why I say, instead of people saying committed suicide, I like to try and say completed suicide. Why is this? So, when people say someone committed suicide, I mean, well, think about it like this. I say someone committed a crime. And when I say someone commits suicide, it just doesn't sound great. And I'm pretty sure there are still some states where trying to attempt suicide is illegal. I should have done more research on that. But I know at one point in time, attempting suicide was illegal. So if you died, you died. And if you survived, you got prosecuted. Like, type of bullshit. Which is insane, by the way. So, and I also work as a crisis text line counselor, a volunteer. And I remember part of the training saying we don't say commit suicide, we say complete suicide. And it takes away that weird connotation and association with committing a crime, because suicide itself is not a crime. It's a tragedy. And there's a difference in my mind. So when someone attempts suicide, yes, they attempt it, and then and you don't want to say someone succeeds at suicide. You know what I mean? Like, success is something we typically celebrate, and you don't want to say someone succeeded suicide. Like, that's not something we want to be like, yay. So for me, that's why I choose to try and say someone attempted suicide or someone completed suicide, because suicide is, at its core, it's an action. It is a tragic action. You complete it or you don't. You attempt it or you complete it. It is not a crime to commit. It is not a success to celebrate. It is an action that could lead to an insane amount of tragedy. Or, hopefully, you survive and you make it through. So, anyway, I made a note to myself to mention why I say completed instead of committed, because I know people typically say committed suicide and da-da-da-da-da. Also, we say commit people to homes, commit people to institutions, and so that word is just so weird. So anyway, okay. So here is another story from a woman named Mary Beth, who's a total badass, by the way. She's the one that reached out to me about borderline personality disorder, which is something that I've never dealt with on my own. It's nothing I've ever experienced, but I remember first hearing about it in a psychology course when I studied abroad in Intro to Clinical Psychology. And my first thought was, oh, it's like dissociative identity disorder. Wrong. Very wrong. Because when I think borderline personality disorder, I think their personality hovers on a border between two personalities, but that's not what it is. And I mean, when I just hear borderline personality disorder, one of my biggest problems with that is the title, borderline personality disorder. Personality disorder. I mean, how discouraging to get that diagnosis, you know what I mean? I personally don't like that title because it makes it sound like your personality is wrong, you are the problem, it is your fault, because your personality is something you inherently can't control. So that's my one thought about it. I really don't know enough about it to say too much more, but I remember my teacher saying that as well when I first learned about it, and she was teaching us about it, and she goes, I really don't like this title, and here's why. And I agree with her. So I looked up, so I wanted to provide, I'm using my phone because I took screenshots of stuff, but I found this article on ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, which is a great website for a bunch of studies and people. Oh, shoot. I think I still have the article up. But it's a great website for articles. There it is. This is the Canadian Medical Association Journal, and it's called Diagnosing Borderline Personality Disorder with Dr. Robert Biskin and Joel Paris. And this is a great website for a bunch of medical stuffs. But I took a screenshot of what they said was diagnostic criteria of borderline personality disorder. So this is like straight from the DSM-5, which is a diagnostic manual in the psychology world. So this is what they say it is, basically. A pervasive pattern of instability of interpersonal relationships, self-image, and affects, which is basically like mood, not quite, but similar enough, and marked impulsivity beginning by early adulthood. And so you get diagnosed if you meet 5 or more of the following. 1. Frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. Note, do not include suicidal or self-mutilating behavior. 2. Pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of idealization and devaluation. 3. Identity disturbance, markedly and persistently unstable self-image or sense of self. This is where my confusion with dissociative identity disorder came in. 4. Impulsivity in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging, like spending, sex, substance abuse. Do not include suicide or self-mutilation, because that's in 5. Reoccurrent suicidal behavior, gestures or threats, or self-mutilating behavior. 6. Affective instability due to a marked reactivity of mood. So basically intense episodic depression, irritability or anxiety. Usually lasting a few hours and only rarely more than a few days. 7. Chronic feelings of emptiness. 8. Inappropriate, intense anger, difficulty controlling anger. 9. Transient stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. Cheerful, right? So this is how the scientific community, the psychology world, DSM-5, this is how they diagnose it. And, if I had just read that, I feel like a lot of stigma and negative associations would have come to mind. But I wanted to dispel it. And Mary Beth was kind enough to take time to define borderline personality disorder for me in her own words. And honestly, I can't say it any better than her. So I'm going to read what she said, basically word for word, and she gave me permission to share. So I'm just going to read word for word what she explains, and hopefully we can dispel some of the stigma and confusion around borderline personality disorder, because in our short conversation, I feel like I learned so much about borderline personality disorder. And thank you again, Mary Beth, for teaching me, straightening out my ignorant ass in such a kind and informational way. I really needed it, so I'm really grateful that I can share this information with everybody else too. So here's how she describes it, and I think it's worded beautifully. Borderline personality disorder to me means that my feelings are the equivalent to a 3rd-degree burn patient. Everything is raw and intense. It's black and white thinking. It's feeling multiple intense emotions every day or even within 1 hour. Stigma surrounding it is that people like me are manipulative, abusive, we are insane, we can't hold jobs, we're unreliable, we always cheat since we're sex addicts, there's no point in dating us since we'll most likely commit suicide, we're a therapist nightmare. I've even heard that we should never be allowed to be parents, which is incredibly heartbreaking to hear. And that is why for me, I have a huge problem with the name borderline personality disorder, because it's so easy to think these things. And then I asked her, what do you wish people know? Or what do you wish people could know if they had a chance to sit and learn? And here's what she said. I wish people knew that I go out of my way to not hurt anyone, to not take my pain out on someone else. I don't want anyone else to feel the way I do, and I internalize it. to the point of convincing myself that I will be doing a service to others by removing myself from this world. That I am in a manic high of happiness every time my kids are around. I'm a good parent. I do my best to focus on them and shower them in love and bend over backwards to make them happy. I work hard to make my way in life by always having a job or two. I'm not irresponsible. I've been homeless and I won't put my kids through it. So even if my borderline personality disorder is acting up and causing mental and physical pain, I'll still be at work focusing on making it a minute at a time till work is over, just so I can get a paycheck and can take care of my kids. Lastly, someone with this disorder can learn about their mind and learn to recognize growing intense emotions and to handle them properly and safely. We can grow. We have to grow, since this is a disorder and it might never go away. How incredible. Like, she wrote that so beautifully. And everything she said, I feel like, applies to so many mental disorders. Anxiety, depression. I have felt so many things she has felt in different contexts. And so if you know someone with borderline personality disorder and you had those stigmas, I encourage you to go back and maybe listen to what she said again. Because what you think is true might not necessarily be true. I know a lot of what I thought wasn't true. And she also was kind enough to look up some really great facts for me. She said 1 out of 10 will commit suicide. Attempt suicide. 7 out of 10 will make 1 out of 10 will complete, I think is what that meant, suicide. 7 out of 10 will make 1 or more attempts. And she told me in 2019 she was in the ICU twice for almost completing attempts. There's a therapy designed for borderline personality disorder people. It's called dialectical behavioral therapy. I've actually been through that myself for anxiety and depression. Incredible. And I told her that. And there's also cognitive behavioral therapy, which is very similar. And here are the things that she told me she does, which I thought were amazing. And I also do a lot of these things. She says she bought a daily planner, and it helps her feel accomplished and satisfied. She writes down small things and checks them off, and she does this daily to function and feel normal. Otherwise, it's easy for her to space out, lay around for hours, feeling depressed, and it also helps with memory. And that's something a lot of people don't understand about mental disorders. Like for me, depression and anxiety, I joke about having the memory of a goldfish. And yes, some of it might be due to a significant brain trauma I suffered in high school from falling off a cliff, which is another story. But also a lot of it has to do with depression and anxiety. Your brain is constantly on overdrive. So of course I'm going to forget little things, and I'm always tired. My mood, it's asking so much of my body to remember little details when I can barely get out of bed to eat. So of course my memory's a little foggy. So thank you again, Mary Beth, for educating me and allowing me to read your beautiful words on this stream, and hopefully provide some insight to borderline personality disorder. And, you know, it just made me think I would love to branch out and talk about more than depression and anxiety. I wish she lived closer so she could come on and like talk about it herself. She can join me in my little pillow fort, but the reason why I focus on depression and anxiety is because those are the two things that I live with, and those are the two things I can provide first-person experience with. But it doesn't hurt to branch out and talk about other things. They're very similar. A lot of them go hand in hand. A lot of what she says she feels, I feel. I also have a daily planner. I use like 3 different calendars. I have one hanging in my kitchen. I use the calendar on my iPhone for reminders. I use a Google Calendar for like work and I'm so burpy and everything else. And then sometimes I used to have like a task list that I'd also check off. Like that's like 4 things right there. But now I actually handwrite stuff. I handwrite stuff so I can physically cross it off, because that for me feels good. So again, thank you, Mary Beth. Happy to talk about more or other mental disorders that I don't have experience with. I don't want to misinform anybody, and I'm not particularly informed about it, so I don't want to say anything wrong. I want more time to like do research. So that's her. Yay, Mary Beth, and I'm sure you're an awesome mom, and you're a great worker. So, yay! Okay, the next story is about one of my dear friends. I'm going to keep him anonymous because this is really serious shit he's going through. I don't want to say too much because we have a lot of mutual friends, and he shared something very, very personal with me, and I'm not going to, like, say it out loud. I'm not going to say specifically what he's going through, but there's some relationship problems, but there's also a lot of factors on top of it that are complicating it. He's dealing with depression, anxiety on top of it, and, you know, I don't think he asked me to say anything, which is why I wrote anonymous in all caps. But he reaches out, he posts on Discord, and he's eating. He ate dinner the other night, and you know what? That's enough. He plays D&D, he goes to work, he shows up. That's enough. I don't know if he's gonna recognize himself. Hopefully he does. But, I did gift him a crystal, so hopefully he knows who he is. And I want him to know that I'm very proud of him. And I hope he keeps pushing through. And even just eating a meal, even at 11 o'clock at night, is good enough. He just got a new job recently, so very proud of you. And I'm proud of you for showing up and proud of you for reaching out. So keep that one short and sweet. And the next one, my friend Mark. He didn't ask anything, but I just wanted to do a quick shout out to him because he moved to California recently for a new job. Yay! He lived in Hawaii. He has the cutest dog ever named Ray, who I call Ray of Sunshine, but R-E-Y, like Star Wars. And so he moved like 2 weeks ago, I think exactly, from Hawaii to California, which I can't imagine being an easy thing to do. But, I mean, honestly, the anxiety, my God, I can't even imagine. I don't even know if Mark deals with anxiety or depression. But I just wanted to tell him, yay, I'm proud of you, and you did it. And you're going to work. And now you're living in California instead of Hawaii, and I'm so sorry. But yay, proud of you. And then I wanted to do another shout out. My friend, she is lovely, and I believe she's staying anonymous as well. This beautiful woman that I met like a month ago, I think, is transgender, currently at the very beginning stages of transitioning male to female, and she is amazing. She recently she reached out to one of our mutual friends in like August, I think, and then got connected to a group of women and is now like friends with a big group of us, and she's talking about her journey more. She's talking about her story. She let me ask a bunch of questions because I was like, I have no personal experience with being transgender. I don't know firsthand like the experiences you deal with, the anxieties you deal with, and she was so open with me. We had great conversations, and she's putting herself out there and like meeting women, hanging out, shopping, and like wearing more women clothing, and just really putting herself out there and being a brave motherfucker. And I'm so proud of her. I don't know if she's still watching, but I love her and I'm very proud of her. And I'm gonna keep it anonymous and keep it short and sweet. And one day hopefully she'll come on and talk about her story more because I think she's a badass and she deserves the recognition. So yay. She's also a ray of sunshine. R-A-E, ray of sunshine. She knows who she is. And then, last but not least, this person wanted to give me a story but couldn't think of anything. And so I decided to just have one for him. So this guy is really amazing. He lives in Arizona and he's really cute. He also deals with depression and anxiety, and even in the midst of his own depression, anxiety, he is always kind. He is understanding. He came up to visit me last week, and we kind of got into a little tiffy, is that the word? little disagreement. It was a little tense the night before he came. But he was still understanding. He was so kind. He came. We had great conversations. We spent the week together, and it was amazing. And yeah, he's my boyfriend now. So yeah. His name is Matt, and he's great, and I really like him. So yeah, just wanted to tell him that I am proud of him, that even though he deals with anxiety a lot, he's always there for me. He's consistently there for me. He is probably the only person I've ever met that fully understands what I'm going through. I don't have to truly explain what I'm feeling because he gets it. He's never said anything that makes me feel bad. He's never invalidated me. He's supportive. He's always, like, I don't even have words. Like, I don't think he's real. I'm still kind of like, I don't think he's real, so we'll see how that goes. But but he's wonderful, and I just wanted to give him a shout out because he works overnight and I work during the day, but he still stays up as long as he can to talk to me and spend our nights together because I'm not a night owl, or days together because I'm not a night owl. So he stays up late for me, and I know him not sleeping very much impacts his anxiety, but he's really good at communicating and he's a great listener. So yeah, shout out to him. Those abs are real. He does have a killer six pack, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, those are some awesome stories of people and their victories this week. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think so. I think those are all the ones that I got. Plus some additional ones that I just wanted to say for real. I'm sorry, I just read the message about the abs. But that I wanted to add in myself. And I'm really glad I did the stream, even though I honestly really didn't want to. I honestly felt weak and fragile today. I was throwing myself this hardcore pity party and didn't want to stream. And Matt encouraged me. A lot of my friends on Discord, particularly Thomas and Lucia, encouraged me. And Thomas also ordered me chicken soup, so I ate today. Thank you, Thomas. You are amazing. And you are also supportive and just incredible. And you didn't tell me that, like, you had stories to contribute, but, like, you're going to the gym, you're working out, you're flexing like a motherfucker, you have increased your weights that you can lift and bench and stuff, and I am so proud of you, dude. So, King Thomas is amazing, and, yeah, super proud of him. Best friend. I'm gonna be the aunt to his children, who I already love. So, love you 3,000, dude. So, that's the stream for today, and I'm really, really glad I did it and got to celebrate other people's victories, and doing that makes it easier for me to, like, think about my own victories, which literally today is waking up, getting out of bed, putting on my glasses, and eating. Like, that's it for today, and you know what? That's good enough. So, I kind of wanted to stream longer, but I just really don't have much else to talk about. Like, oh, hi, Henley. Did you want to say hi? Oh, now you're being shy? Really? All right. My cat's being a little... Oh, are you going to say hi? You going to say... Oh, come... Oh, Henley, come here. There's my cat. Her name... Oh, I'm not holding her well. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's Henley. She also has anxiety. Do you know animals can have anxiety? This baby girl... Actually, I will tell a quick story about my cat. This little girl... Oh my god, Henley, you get your own victory story! Okay, so when I first adopted Henley, this was... When did I adopt you? July 19th of 2015. It's been almost 6 years, baby! So when I first adopted her, she was 3 months old. She was, like, the super cuddly, adorable kitten. And then that's when my drinking took off and went downhill, and she did not trust me for a long, long time because my behavior was erratic. Like, I wasn't feeding her properly. I was a terrible pet mom. I was, I wasn't, I was awful. I was unreliable. I wasn't cleaning her litter box enough. And, like, it fell on my parents. It fell on my housemates. It fell on other people who got tired of it. And I don't blame them. And sometimes I'd pick her up when I was drunk and like dance around. And you know what? She fucking hated that shit, and I don't blame her. And she stopped cuddling as much. She didn't want to sit on my lap, nothing. And yeah, I completely lost her trust, and she had major, major anxiety. She still has a little bit of anxiety. But like, she would hide anytime the front door opened. She didn't want to greet people. She didn't respond to me anymore. And then I got sober, and I became more reliable and fed her regularly. She is spoiled beyond belief now, by the way. So don't worry about her. Like, she's okay. There was always someone taking care of her. I just was not reliable, but like, her litter box is always clean, her food bowl is always full. She gets treats like a motherfucker. Like, she gets bacon when, like, I go to bed when she goes to bed. She has her own designated spot. Like, she gets to pick the spot. I sleep around her. Like, she is my baby girl. But I remember it took months to earn her trust back. And I remember the first time she sat in my lap after I got sober, I had a brown Snuggie on, and my lap just made this perfect pool, and she walked up very hesitantly towards me, and her fur was sticking up. She was anxious beyond belief, but she kind of looked at me like, okay, you've been more stable. I pet her. She sat down in my lap and just purred, and I cried until she left, which was like an hour later. So it's just like tears. But now Matt can attest to this. She cuddled both of us in bed. She'll greet people if she feels like it by the front door. Like, she sleeps with me every night. She'll literally tuck herself up in my arms. So, I mean, she's overcome a lot of anxiety too over the past 5 years. Took me being sober to become a good cat mom. So, I'm proud of you, baby. It's her birthday on April 21st, which is also my dad's birthday, but he understands his birthday secondary. It's Henley's birthday first. So yeah. I did not expect to tell a story about my cat overcoming anxiety tonight, but there you go. I'm proud of you, baby. She's like, I don't give two fucks right now. Oh my god, I want to show a kitten photo of her. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't think the quality is good enough. But we're gonna try. Hold on. I gotta scroll past all my nudes. Hang on. Okay, where is she? Okay, so when she was a kitten, she snuggled me. Like, look at her. Look at her. This was like when I first got her. She'd like lay on me, and she trusted me like a motherfucker. And she would, let's see, hold on. Like, look at her. And then she stopped doing that for a long time because she didn't trust me, which is totally fair. And let me find a recent photo of us because, let me find a recent photo of us to show how far she's come. So yeah, she sleeps with me. Oh, here we go. Look at her. This was us like the other day. She's come so far. So anyway, okay. Before I show you all like 548 photos of my cat Henley, that's just one of them, by the way. I should probably end this stream. I ate dinner. I'll probably go take a shower, watch my show. And you know what? My shower is going to be another victory for the day. Seriously, it's the little things that are considered big victories. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in and all that good stuff. Be streaming again. Oh, I added a thing to my schedule on here, which I finally figured out how to do. On, I think Sundays was the day I picked. If there's like announcements or something coming up, that's when I would stream them. Not going to be every Sunday, but if I have announcements, it'll be streamed on Sunday at like 6. But yeah, otherwise, I'll be back next Wednesday, 6 o'clock. No idea what I'm going to talk about. As usual, we'll fucking figure it out when it comes. Something about mental health and sobriety, probably. Just a guess. Yeah, okay. I hope everyone has a great week. Take care of yourself. Celebrate your little victories. I would love to do a part 2, little victories, and celebrate even more, because why not? We need to do shit like this. So, yeah. I still don't have an outro, so fancy outro here. I can end my stream with, I don't have a mouse pad, so I'm going to use my hand. But that's okay. Okay. Have a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday. If my mouse will cooperate. Hang on. Alright. Need a flat surface. My portable charger. Hey, I'm a genius. Alright. Have a good week.